So today I would like to introduce you to the story that I thought about and wrote particularly for my daughter Clara. Clara loves bugs, she loves plants, and she loves dragons. So I thought I'd try to get some of my research into a story that I could tell Clara that would bring about some interesting elements. The story is called The Special Blanket. Here we go. In the north of Scotland, 10,000 years ago, the glacier retreated, scouring the land mass below. Soon after, plant spirits woke, yawned, and stretched, gazing at the landscape the Ice Age had etched. A young birch tree spirit, who was the tallest, suddenly jumped with panic and unrest. "Oh no! Oh dear!" he cried. "Sound the alarm!" And he pointed in the distance with his thin, woody arm. "Calm down," said the shrub spirit. "What's the problem?" "The dragons!" cried the birch. "Can you not see them?" So they all looked around and they saw with horror dragons everywhere in a very deep slumber. "I know what to do," a small voice whispered quietly. It came from a bog moss, small, crimson red, and dainty. "We'll knit a blanket," she began, but they all laughed and said, "Fool!" "A special blanket," she said more firmly, "that keeps dragon cool. It'll need to be big for all the dragons to fit. So let's start," she went on and taught them how to knit. And thus all the plant spirits sat down and knitted. They knitted and knitted and knitted and knitted. For thousands of years they knitted tirelessly, and the blanket grew from the mountains to the sea. The blanket grew wide and the blanket grew deep. It rose up and fell down as dragons breathed in their sleep. Until one day humans arrived in Scotland to build homes, to hunt food and set claim on the land. They poked at the blanket, making holes here and there, and the plant spirit sensed the change in the air. They gathered a council to review the situation and discussed and agreed on a course of action. "See how the rips are mostly on the edge," argued a golden and slender-looking sedge. "They won't wake the dragons, I'm pretty sure. They're tiny cats. The blanket is secure." "That's right," said the shrub. "And can we not mend it? I suggest that we just continue to knit." So the plant spirits knitted and knitted some more, but while they knitted, they couldn't ignore that for reasons that they just couldn't get, humans continued to ruin their special blanket. The holes kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. "Look!" the birch spirit screamed. "This human brought a digger!" And the plant spirits all looked on with despair as the dozers and diggers cut out drains everywhere. Then humans brought flocks of very hungry sheep to graze near the gashes so long and so deep. They planted foreign trees around large ditches and stretched and broke down the blanket's tight stitches. "Enough!" the bugmouse shouted. "Something must be done, or before we know it, the blanket will be gone. But who can we tell? Will those humans listen?" "Maybe not them," mused the sedge, "but maybe their children?" And so the blanket spirits overcame their fears to whisper like the wind in the children's small ears. "Look closely at this blanket. Isn't it sublime? We have all knitted it for such a long time. See all the life that depends on this blanket, the rivers that it feeds and the birds that live on it. Look at all these colors, how they change in the light." And the children saw it all with a newfound delight. They tried to describe this beauty to others and managed to protect some of the blanket corners, but the damage was profound. The blanket was shrinking, and the dragons, deep down, soon started stirring. "I'm worried," the birch tree said to all the plant spirits. "The blanket is so broken it's fallen into bits. The dragon's breath have become erratic. If they wake up, it will be dramatic. They must tell the truth, the wise bog moth spoke, or the world that we know may well end up in smoke. We must warn the children of the real dragon's threat. We must teach them to knit and to mend the blanket. It was their last chance. The plant spirits knew it well, so they summoned their powers in a magical spell. And as the children slept, they started to have visions of the broken blanket bursting out with dragons. In that way, the dreams truly began to reveal just why the blanket was such a big deal. The dragons were very scary, but there was hope too, as the dreams also showed the children what to do. The children spoke to everyone and told them the story. They warned of dragons and of the plant spirit worry, that if the blanket was not looked after fast, then even the humans were not guaranteed to last. So now humans block drains, cut trees and patch up cracks, and the plant spirits are able to follow in their tracks. They join forces and work as one team, stitching back the blanket with a yarn made of dream. And what of the dragons, you may be wondering? Under the mended blanket, it looks like they are snoring, and I hope they will continue to snore for another 10,000 years, or perhaps even more. I hope you enjoyed my story. Thank you.